How to build an emergency fund in 60 days, even if you're broke. Imagine waking up tomorrow. Your phone rings. Your car won't start. Your landlord is asking for rent. Your bank account. It has just $27.43 left. Now let me ask you something. If a $500 emergency happened today, what would you do? Would you borrow money? Use a credit card? Ask your family for help? Or would you simply hope the problem somehow disappears? Here's the shocking truth. Nearly everyone believes they need a high income to build an emergency fund. But that's exactly why millions of people stay financially vulnerable for years. And by the end of this video, I'll reveal the one mistake almost everyone makes when trying to save money, a mistake that has nothing to do with income. Once you see it, you'll never think about saving the same way again. Story 1, The Delivery Driver. Meet Jake. Jake isn't lazy. He isn't irresponsible. He simply lives the way millions of people do. Every paycheck already has a destination before it even arrives. Rent. Food. Gas. Utilities. Insurance. Then, whatever little remains quietly disappears. A coffee here. A fast food meal there. A streaming subscription he forgot about. An online purchase he barely remembers making. Nothing feels expensive. But together, they quietly steal his future. Jake always tells himself, "I'll start saving next month." But next month never comes. Because life always finds a new excuse. A flat tire. A medical bill. A birthday gift. An unexpected repair. Sound familiar? Here's something most people never realize. Emergencies aren't rare. They're scheduled. You just don't know the date yet. Pattern interrupt. Imagine your future self standing right in front of you. He has 2 envelopes. One says, "Emergency Fund." The other says, "Debt." Which envelope do you think you're filling today? Jake never asked himself that question. Until one rainy Tuesday. His delivery car suddenly stopped in the middle of the road. The mechanic looked at him and said, "It'll cost around $850. Jake checked his bank account. There wasn't even $200. That wasn't just a car problem. It became a financial disaster. He borrowed money. Missed work. Paid interest. And spent months recovering from a problem that lasted only one afternoon. That single day changed everything. He made one promise. "I will never let a small emergency become a huge crisis again." Curiosity gap. But Jake's solution wasn't what you'd expect. He didn't get a second job. He didn't win the lottery. He didn't suddenly earn twice as much money. Instead, he followed a surprisingly simple 60-day strategy. And by day 43, something happened that completely changed the way he looked at money. We'll come back to Jake later. Because first, there's something you need to understand. Why most people never build an emergency fund. People think saving money is a math problem. It's not. It's a behavior problem. Most people don't spend what's left after saving. They save what's left after spending. And here's the problem. There's almost never anything left. Think about it. Have you ever reached the end of the month and thought, "Great, now I finally have extra money to save"? Probably not. Because expenses expand to fill every dollar you earn. It's called lifestyle inflation. The more money you make, the more your spending quietly grows with it. A nicer phone. A bigger apartment. More subscriptions. Better restaurants. None of these purchases feel dangerous. But together, they keep you trapped. Question for viewers. Let me ask you something. What's the biggest thing stopping you from saving money right now? Low income? Unexpected bills? Or simply spending without noticing? Write your answer in the comments. I'm curious to see how many people share the same struggle. The invisible leak. Imagine trying to fill a bucket with water. Now imagine that bucket has 10 tiny holes. Would pouring in more water solve the problem? No. You'd fix the leaks first. Your finances work exactly the same way. Most people focus on increasing income. Almost nobody focuses on stopping invisible spending. And those invisible leaks quietly destroy every savings plan before it even begins. Pattern interrupt. Quick challenge. Without checking your banking app, can you remember exactly how much money you spent on small purchases last week? Coffee. Snacks. Food delivery. Online shopping. Parking. Most people can't. Not because they're careless. Because tiny expenses are almost invisible. Yet they're often the reason an emergency fund never exists. Transition to part 2. Now here's where Jake did something almost nobody else does. He didn't start with a huge savings goal. He started with something so small. It almost sounded ridiculous. But that tiny decision created a chain reaction that completely transformed his finances in just 60 days. And that's exactly where our next story begins. The 60-day strategy that actually works. The $10 decision. When Jake decided to build an emergency fund, he made one rule. Not $100 a week. Not $1,000 a month. Just $10 a day. At first, it felt almost meaningless. What difference can $10 make? But here's something most people underestimate. Small actions repeated consistently become surprisingly powerful. After 1 week, he had $70. After 2 weeks, $140. For the first time in years, his savings account wasn't empty. It wasn't a fortune. But it was proof. Proof that he could actually save money. And that tiny psychological victory became more valuable than the money itself. Pattern interrupt. Imagine this. 2 people each receive an unexpected bill for $500. The first person immediately reaches for a credit card. The second quietly opens an emergency savings account and pays the bill without stress. Same emergency. Completely different experience. The difference wasn't luck. It was preparation. Story 2, Emma's invisible spending. Emma believed she had one problem. My salary isn't high enough. She repeated that sentence every month. Then one evening, she downloaded a budgeting app. Not because she expected miracles, but because she wanted answers. After 7 days, she looked at the results. She couldn't believe what she saw. $18 here. $12 there. A forgotten subscription. Late fees. Food delivery after work. Impulse purchases made in less than 30 seconds. None of them seemed important. Together, they added up to nearly $420 in a single month. Emma hadn't found extra income. She had found hidden money. And once she plugged those invisible leaks, saving no longer felt impossible. It felt automatic. Question for the viewer. Here's a challenge. If I asked you right now, where did your last $100 go? Could you answer without checking your bank account? Most people can't. And that's exactly why their savings never grow. Tell me honestly in the comments. What's one expense you know you could cut this month? The 60-day emergency fund plan. Here's the strategy. Days 1 to 7. Don't try to save more. Just observe. Track every dollar. Every coffee. Every snack. Every online purchase. You can't fix what you don't measure. Days 8 to 14. Find 3 unnecessary expenses. Not everything. Just 3. Maybe it's food delivery. Maybe it's unused subscriptions. Maybe it's buying things simply because they're on sale. Those 3 changes alone could free up more money than you expect. Pattern interrupt. Stop. Don't think about saving $5,000. That's overwhelming. Think about saving your first $100. Because confidence grows much faster than your bank balance. Days 15 to 30. Open a separate savings account. Not your checking account. Not cash in a drawer. A separate place where the money feels untouchable. Remove temptation. Make spending slightly harder. Saving becomes easier. Days 31 to 45. Automate your savings. Even if it's only $5. Or $10. The amount matters less than the habit. Successful savers don't rely on motivation. They rely on systems. Curiosity gap. But there's one mistake that destroys this entire plan. A mistake almost everyone makes without realizing it. We'll reveal it near the end. Because before that, you need to meet someone who approached money in a completely different way. And his story explains why some people stay calm during financial emergencies while others panic. Red Circle Story 3, Adrian Cole. Red Circle Adrian Cole walks into a grocery store carrying a simple shopping list. Around him, people fill their carts with items they never planned to buy. A promotion catches someone's eye. Another person grabs snacks while waiting in line. Another adds products just in case. Adrian quietly ignores them. He buys exactly what he came for. Nothing more. Nothing less. As he leaves the store, a coworker laughs. "Come on, Adrian, you only live once." Adrian smiles. He doesn't argue. He simply says, "Exactly. That's why I prepare for tomorrow." Pattern interrupt. Freeze frame. Large text appears on screen. Discipline looks boring, until it becomes freedom. 2 months later. That same coworker receives an unexpected medical bill. No savings. No emergency fund. Only stress. Meanwhile, Red Circle Adrian pays his own unexpected car repair using his emergency fund. No debt. No panic. No sleepless nights. The difference wasn't that Adrian earned more. The difference was that Adrian had prepared before life tested him. Thought-provoking question. Who do you think is actually richer? The person driving a luxury car with no savings? Or the person driving an older car with 6 months of emergency expenses in the bank? I'd love to hear your opinion in the comments. Transition to part 3. By now, you've seen 3 different people. 3 different incomes. And 3 different outcomes. But they all have one thing in common. They eventually discovered the one hidden mistake that keeps millions of people trapped in financial stress. And once you understand that mistake, building an emergency fund becomes far easier than you ever imagined. Continue to part 3. The mistake that keeps people broke, and how to escape it. The secret almost everyone misses. Remember the secret I promised at the beginning? Here it is. The biggest reason people never build an emergency fund isn't that they don't earn enough money. It's that they wait for the perfect time to start saving. They tell themselves, "I'll save after I get a raise. I'll save once I pay off this debt. I'll save when things calm down." But here's the uncomfortable truth. For most people, that perfect moment never arrives. Life keeps throwing new expenses your way. There will always be another bill. Another birthday. Another repair. Another reason to wait. And waiting slowly becomes a habit. Pattern interrupt. Imagine standing on a beach. You tell yourself, I'll go into the water once the waves stop. But the waves never stop. Life works the same way. There will never be a month with zero expenses. The people who become financially secure don't wait for calm waters. They learn to save while the waves are still crashing. A simple shift that changes everything. Most people treat saving like it's optional. They pay everyone else first. The landlord. The bank. The phone company. The electricity bill. The streaming services. And if anything is left, maybe they'll save it. Successful people reverse the order. They pay themselves first. Even if it's only $5, $10, or $20. Because they're not just saving money. They're building a habit. And habits shape your financial future far more than occasional big decisions. Jake's final test. Let's go back to Jake. 60 days after starting his emergency fund. He had just over $1,000 saved. Not long after, his car broke down again. The exact same problem. The exact same repair shop. The exact same type of bill. But this time, everything felt different. No panic. No borrowing. No credit card. No calling friends for help. He paid the repair. Got back to work. And kept moving forward. The emergency hadn't changed. Jake had. That's the real purpose of an emergency fund. It's not just about money. It's about buying peace of mind. Red Circle Adrian Cole's final lesson. Red Circle Adrian Cole stands in front of a large window overlooking the city as the sun begins to rise. The voiceover says, people often think wealth is measured by expensive watches, luxury cars, or designer clothes. Adrian slowly removes his watch and places it on the desk. Then he picks up a small notebook labeled Emergency Fund. The camera zooms in. Inside are simple numbers. Small deposits. Week after week. Month after month. Nothing dramatic. Nothing flashy. Just consistency. The voiceover continues. Financial freedom isn't built through one big decision. It's built through hundreds of small ones that almost nobody notices. Adrian smiles as he closes the notebook. Because he knows something many people don't. Confidence doesn't come from hoping nothing goes wrong. It comes from knowing you're ready when it does. One final challenge. I want you to do something today. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Today. Open a separate savings account, or even a simple envelope if that's all you have. Put your first deposit inside. It doesn't matter if it's $5. It doesn't matter if it's $50. The amount isn't the goal. The habit is. Because once you prove to yourself that you can save once, you'll believe you can save again. And again. And again. Final thought-provoking question. Imagine this. Exactly 1 year from today. Would you rather look back and say, I wish I had started saving? Or, I'm glad I started, even when I thought I couldn't. Your future self is shaped by the decision you make today. Which choice are you making? Let me know in the comments. Outro/call to action. If this video changed the way you think about money, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who always says, I'll start saving next month. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because every week on Investor's Edge, we break down the habits, strategies, and psychology that help ordinary people build extraordinary financial lives. And remember, you don't need to be rich to start saving. You need to start saving to become financially secure. I'll see you in the next video.